everybody. This is Stephanie Greenberg with Greenberg and Sinkovitz. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for our wine and divorce discussion. Tonight we are going to be talking about child support, maintenance, otherwise known as spousal support or alimony, and then contribution to expenses, and also just how the COVID pandemic is impacting those items and your options with those. Just to start us off here, I am drinking Cabernet Sauvignon, which is my go-to wine. And then just remember that you can ask questions throughout the presentation tonight. So you can put them into the Facebook Live and we will be happy to answer them as we go along. I'm going to turn it over to Michelle and Casey to introduce themselves as well.
Hi, I'm Michelle Sinkovitz-Ferguson from Greenberg and Sinkovitz. We're excited to get started, and just to segue into our wine and divorce theme, I'm drinking rosé again because I'm in a summer mood.
Hi, my name is Casey Perino. I'm the associate here at Greenberg and Sinkovitz, and today I'm actually drinking a vodka lemonade. It's been a long day. Just so to kick us off, Governor Pritzker announced today for the first time that the Chicago region is now meeting the criteria to move into phase 3 of his coronavirus recovery reopening plan. Every region is meeting the metrics, and if this is maintained, we could move to phase 3 in just a few short days, which includes the reopening with precautions of manufacturing, offices, retail, barbershops, and salons. Gatherings must still be limited to 10 or fewer people. Face covering will still be required, and social distancing will also continue to be required.
So as far as the court system is concerned, while nothing is set in stone, the chief judge of Cook County, Timothy Evans, said this past Monday in an email statement that discussions are underway to resume certain types of court proceedings after May 31st. There are ongoing discussions, considering the health of everyone inside a courthouse being the most paramount concern. And they're focused on the use of face coverings, social distancing, and flexibility for those who can't attend court due to illness or exposure to illness. They're also seeking additional Zoom licenses and live streaming via the court's YouTube channel as well.
You may have heard in the news, or as we discussed last week, or maybe you've been personally affected, but if you owe child support, you cannot participate in many of the stimulus programs that are currently available. If you owe child support, likely the stimulus was intercepted and you were unable to get that. Additionally, you're ineligible to receive PPP if you're an owner with an arrearage of 60 or more days. There might not be much you can do about the stimulus now, but there are still funds available for PPP the last time I checked. And we can attempt to help rectify this for you, this arrearage. So you can certainly reach out to us that or any questions. Additionally, if you're able, it may be a good idea to resolve any arrearage in case there's additional stimuluses available in the future.
I'm going to talk a little bit about modifications, specifically when it comes to child support and maintenance or alimony. If you're already paying child support or maintenance, pursuant to a court order or a judgment, you may be able to get a modification, especially at this time. Don't just stop paying child support or your maintenance. You need to request that from the court. You could get into trouble if you just stop paying. You could be found in contempt of court. So, you're able to get a modification based on a substantial change in circumstances. So if you're recently unemployed, furloughed, you've received reduced hours, this would be a good opportunity to at least possibly temporarily reduce your child support payments. Now, your ability to reduce your maintenance payments will largely be dependent on the wording that is contained in your judgment or your marital settlement agreement or your court order. If you have an order for payment of temporary maintenance or alimony, you can also consider modifying your temporary maintenance payments at this time as well. If you're already paying child support or support to a spouse, but nothing has been entered in court, so you've just been doing it by agreement, try to keep paying, but if you do need to reduce your payment, try talking to the other parent, first and see what they're open to. It's likely that their response might be to file a petition in court to establish an order requiring you to pay maintenance or child support. But if you are truly unable to pay the full amount you were paying before or pay anything at all right now, the court will likely be sympathetic to your situation considering the pandemic, and then set support based on your current financial situation.
If you haven't been involved in the court system yet or even filed anything in court and you want to establish child support or maintenance, and the other parent is not agreeing to pay you anything, or they're agreeing to pay you something minimal that doesn't seem fair, you need to file a motion or a petition as soon as possible. Timing is important because it can go back to the time of filing. So if you filed it today versus 3 months from today, you would likely get it from today's date. Child support is based on both parents' income and the time each parent has with the kids. Something else you can get is child expenses. So typically this is school fees and tuition, daycare, medical expenses, and extracurricular activities. Some of these expenses might not apply now, but should be included for when we return to some sense of normalcy. If you're looking for maintenance, this is spousal support, it used to be called alimony, you're going to need to file a petition for dissolution of marriage if you haven't already. With any motion or pleading, relief is not immediate unless it's an emergency. Financial issues are very rarely an emergency, but maybe if you've been cut off from all access to funds and can't buy basic necessities, or if large sums have disappeared and you want to preserve those funds.
And just to quickly touch on some COVID specific issues, daycares right now are closed except for essential workers. So if you're paying the full amount or a reduced amount, it shall continue to be split between the parties, which can be 50-50 or proportional based on incomes. Typically, we want to figure out all expenses to be allocated. While right now it might not be an issue as to extracurricular or school fees, these expenses should still be allocated for the future. And then keep in mind, if you gained more parenting time right now because the other parent is essential and you're working from home, you could be eligible for more support. And this may be a good reason to modify your order for parenting time also. Thank you for joining us for this week's webinar. Join us again next week where we will discuss protecting your assets in the face of divorce and during COVID. Bye.